They said only the worthy would enter Valhalla, but no one spoke of the forgotten. He did not fall in battle, and that alone was enough to deny him honor. Among warriors, there is no greater shame than surviving when others have fallen.
Still, the ritual had to be done, because the dead must always be sent somewhere.
The flames were meant to guide him, not to hold him in this world.
At first, everything seemed right. The fire rose, and the night stood still.
The flames were meant to carry him, to lift what remained beyond this world. But something in the flames felt wrong. Something no one could explain. The fire did not spread as it should. It hesitated, as if deciding. The wind stopped without warning, as if the world itself had fallen silent. The smoke did not drift. It rose straight upward, like a pillar to nowhere. The fire touched his flesh, yet it did not burn, not even for a moment. It was not consuming him. It was holding him there, refusing to let him go. Then came a sound, distant, metallic, echoing from somewhere beyond their world. It echoed again, like steel striking steel in a place they could not see.
Others heard it too, and in that moment, no one could deny it anymore.
And then the fire moved, not with the wind, but as if it had chosen.
His eyes opened slowly, untouched by flame, yet no longer empty.
Retreat! Fall back! We can't hold this! It's too strong!
He did not move, yet every man there felt that he was watching them. The fire no longer burned. It held its shape, as if it had become something else.
Within the flames, there was depth, as though they were looking into another place.
The sound returned, not closer but clearer, like a hall that would not open. And then they saw it. The flames touched him, but left nothing behind.
She arrived without fear, as if she had already seen this before. She did not touch the fire, because she knew it no longer belonged to them.
His eyes opened slowly, untouched by flame, yet no longer empty.
And when she spoke, it was not the answer they had hoped to hear. This is not the fire you know, and it no longer answers to your world. Some refused to believe, because to accept it meant everything they knew was wrong.
The path to Valhalla did not open for him, not because it could not, but because it would not.
He is not gone, and he cannot return, because the gate has no direction. Fear spread among them, not as a feeling, but as something that could not be contained. Some turned away, believing distance might protect them from what they had witnessed. Others ran without direction, because there was no longer any order left to follow. But he remained, because leaving would not change what had already begun. And the fire answered, not to the wind, but to those who tried to escape. One man stepped forward, not out of courage, but because fear had nowhere left to go. One man stepped forward, not out of courage, but because fear had nowhere left to go. His body did not burn, but something in him began to change. And then the fire pulled, not his body, but what was inside him. He stood still, but whatever he was before had already begun to disappear. He did not speak, and when he moved, it was not like a living man. They saw it in his eyes, and understood that he was no longer one of them. The fire had not spread, yet something from it had already reached beyond. And without resistance, he turned back toward the fire that had taken him. The fire grew stronger, not from wood, but from what it had taken. In that moment, they understood nothing that entered would ever return. The silence returned, heavier than before, as if something had been claimed.
It cannot be closed, because it was never meant to be opened.
The gods did not answer, and in that absence, everything they believed began to break.
It would not fade, because what it held was no longer bound to their world. They began to leave, not because they were safe, but because they could not stay.
No ritual remained, only the place where it had failed. The fire remained unchanged, as if time itself no longer reached it.
The world moved on, but that place remained unchanged.
The distant sound faded, not because it ended, but because it no longer needed to be heard.
The first light approached, but it did not touch what had been created. The dawn came, but the fire did not recognize it. The world moved on, but that place remained unchanged. It did not burn to end. It burned because it could not stop.
And it would remain, not as an ending, but as a reminder of what should never be opened.